I am beginning to detest my boyfriend. Welcome to Little Miss Reddit, where we dive into the latest interesting Reddit stories, hear some controversial opinions, and then it's your chance to post your opinion on the whole matter. Let's dive into our first story. Our poster goes by the name Dramatic Potato. She says, I am 24 years old and have been with my boyfriend, who's 25, for over 1 year now. We've had some extremely rough patches. One of my main issues with this guy is he has a horrible habit of micromanaging. I personally am an extremely introverted and independent person. I do not like people acting like my parents for most of the part. Now, this guy is my boyfriend, so obviously I tell him where, with whom I'm going every time I go out of respect. But nothing seems enough for him. He wants to know everything: with whom I am going out. Whom am I sitting next to? What am I wearing? He especially tries to control my clothes, never letting me wear anything even slightly exposing. Heck, he's made me change clothes moments before I was heading out. Later, he joked about how it was because I dressed like a slut. I am unable to enjoy any single outing I go on with my friends because he keeps on spamming me with texts. If I don't see his texts for long, he starts spamming with calls. My friends start to get annoyed because I have to be on the phone a lot, even when I'm out with them. I'm a college student, and it's pretty normal for friends to hang out at night. I was taking a walk with a bunch of friends late at night. This was after I spent time with him and said goodnight and bid farewell for the day to him. He also gave me shit about my clothes before I went to my friends because he doesn't like one of my male friends. I was wearing a jacket and jeans. Jacket was zipped up closed. Basically, 3 centimeters of my skin was visible, and he had a problem with that. 3 centimeters! This really pissed me off, so he literally banged the door when I left. Every time I bring this up, he says he will change and apologizes, but I haven't seen much improvement. It is absolutely hurtful and frustrating. One of my friends view this as a sign of care, that he does all this because he cares for me so much. This makes me feel very guilty. But I absolutely detest him for trying to be on my neck for literally everything I do. I just want space. I can't go an hour or 2 without him calling me. I also feel guilty that I feel this way when maybe he just cares about me too much. I don't know what to do. Aw, poor thing. Let's read some comments and see what people are suggesting she do in this situation. The first commenter, Sudden Possible, says, give him an ultimatum. He either stops that controlling shit now or it's over. If he does it again, end it. It'll never change if you don't stand up to it. Expensive Fiance 949 says, it's not controlling. He just wants to mold you into a completely different person that he wants you to be. Honestly, if you're not willing to give up who you are, how you dress, having friends, beliefs, anything that he doesn't approve of, you're selfish. Men are most important, not you. So in other words, ignore what I just said. A man should never be thinking priorities should shift because you got a boyfriend. Like the girl means nothing because she's got a man. I love those sarcastic commenters. Canadian Sneaker Nut, I like that name, says it's easy to make harsh judgments when the relationship is not your own. I used to be that guy. Years later, after thousands upon thousands spent on counseling, etc., it seemed from my childhood and the fear of those we are close to leaving. If you try to have a talk right after a fight or there are negative consequences, it actually promotes the opposite behavior. Try to have the talk at a more neutral time with no repercussions. Set clear boundaries. If one person dictates you need to change, it doesn't really add much. Of course, everyone is saying leave. It's a sign, etc., etc. If that was the case, we'd have a world full of single people. It's the first thought that comes, and which is not always a great course of action. That's a different take. I like the different takes. Our next commenter, and I have no idea what this name is, CLHKY, he says all the people telling you to dump him wouldn't. Well, some girls dump a guy over anything, but most wouldn't, especially if they loved him. You said everything else is fine, but this, it could work out. But saying you dressed like a slut, that's bad. If he said those exact words, that's horrible. What do you know about his past girlfriends? Did he get cheated on so he's now insecure about stuff like that? I say if you love him, it's worth it to try to work it out. If not, move on. McGoo, the wise one, says, gonna give you the best advice anyone ever will. Quit asking the internet for advice. Every reply you get here is charged with the struggles in that person's life and a deep lack of understanding for either side in your actual relationship. Talk to your boyfriend, not the internet. Here's another tidbit that will help. Women in younger generations today are much more promiscuous than previous generations and also carry with them an extreme lack of respect for men, especially those they leave at home. He is making an educated guess that one of your friends will convince you that you don't need him and that you're a free spirit and YOLO and all that. You're not single anymore, and I'm willing to bet your friends are. By you going out with your non-single friends frequently, you're telling him you don't really take the relationship seriously, and you're good to drop him the moment the idea seems good to you. If you want to be monogamous with him for the long haul, you would be putting in the time with him and not out with your friends. He is the most important person in your life if you want a lasting relationship, and you keep telling him you haven't grown up yet and are not ready to commit. Now look at that. I meant every single word, and even that message is charged with my personal bias and lack of understanding about your whole situation. Talk to your own boyfriend. Make up your own mind. Commit to him or don't. The time to decide has passed. Woo! That person has some strong opinions about this whole thing. My name is Amos says, in which universe would it be acceptable to stay with a person like this? Ditch this guy. Find your true self again before you fall into another abusive relationship. You've been with him for a year and are just now questioning a relationship where the guy thinks slut-shaming is a right? I hate him after reading the first paragraph. Fly, you fool, as a wizard would have advised. Our last commenter, Conscious Arachnid 298, says this definitely isn't a sign of care. It's just regular old controlling behavior. It's also not appropriate or acceptable for him to say, you look like a slut. Why do you want to be together if you detest him? There was a lot of different comments in this today. I really was surprised at how differing the opinions were. What are your thoughts on this topic? Do you think she should stick it out and try to be more focused on his needs? Do you think she should just stay with him and try to be what he wants her to be? Do you think she should run for the hills and never look back, and that he's controlling and this could possibly turn into an abusive relationship? How do you feel about this? What would you do in her situation? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Until next time, my friends, let's keep on talking.